Now here we have an interesting conifer, one we don't see that often in Vancouver. So perhaps not the best specimen, but let's get a closer look. There's some branches nice and close to the ground, which is handy. So if we come over and have a closer look, we can see that it has these kind of round cones, these sort of fractured looking segments. They're rather on the small side. And we have kind of two types of foliage, sort of this more scale-like, kind of flatter foliage, and then here's a better example, this kind of more yew tree-like, sort of pointier foliage. So let's see, here's a better example of it over here. It's a little shady. So apparently this type of tree grows different foliage depending if it's in the sun or the shade. But yeah, this more shade type foliage really reminds me of like a yew. It's kind of flat, sort of triangular shaped tips to the leaves, or the needles I should say, and a very kind of bright green stem and bright green leaves all the way around. If we look at the bark, you can see it's quite red, sort of shaggy, a little bit on the soft side actually if you press into it, parts of it anyway. And it's got these big kind of hanging, sweeping out sort of branches. And then if we look on the ground, we can see that mostly when the branches fall off, they fall off as entire kind of clumps. The individual needles don't fall off as one section. So these are all traits really typical of the coastal redwood. So again, like I said, not a particularly common tree in our area. The things you might mix it up with are perhaps the yew, as I mentioned, which don't really grow like this and don't have cones, or maybe another type of sequoia or redwood. But the giant sequoia has a cone that's about this big versus this little teeny cone, although it's the same kind of shape. So, and the bark is sort of similar on a giant sequoia as well, but the needles are not really similar at all to this.